Hi everyone, I'm Yume, the creator of the paper koi lantern, and today I'll be showing you how to turn your DIY kit into a beautiful glowing koi. The koi lantern comes in 8 metallic colors and 2 fin types. This tutorial works for all versions of the koi. The first thing is to check if you have all the pieces. Sometimes a piece might come loose during shipping. Check inside the envelope for any missing piece. If you bought a long fin koi, there should be 5 sheets in your koi kit. If you bought a short fin koi, there should be 4 sheets in your koi kit. Whether you have a long fin koi or a short fin koi, the process to assemble both is exactly the same. Each koi kit also comes with these duplicate pieces, so if you make a mistake, you can always try again. Before you begin assembling your koi, let's go over some basic concepts and techniques. The koi is made up of these numbered rolls of scales. For clarity, I have highlighted the numbers and made every other roll a different color. The even numbers in yellow will always be the center spine of the koi. The odd numbers in red will always be to the left of the spine. Keep this in mind when assembling your koi to make sure the scales are always aligned correctly. Now, don't touch your koi just yet. I'll be demonstrating the main techniques using 2 colors so you can better see how the scales and tabs interlock and overlap. Just pay attention for now so that when you work on your own koi, you'll know what to expect. Later, we'll start over and assemble everything together. When working with flat rolls of scales, it's easier to interweave them like so. Notice how the odd number is to the left of the even number. For the next row, we'll align the even numbers and interweave the scales like before. Notice how the number 28 is now hidden by the scale of number 26. This will be the case for all the numbers. Now we'll fold the scales in half along the even numbers of the spine and create a tube by hooking together the end tabs. Gently bend the end tabs and hook them together like so. Make sure the very end of the end tabs are on the inside of the tube, and that they are flattened against the scales. To hook the next end tab, first fold the bottom scale in half. You can pull back the tab that's covering the end tabs to make them easier to work with. Don't worry about the crease tab because it will be covered by the next row of scales. If you're having trouble with a piece, or just have larger fingers, you can use tweezers to help with the process. Now you should have a flattened tube that we can insert the tail into. Make sure the numbers are at the top, and insert the tail all the way in until you can't go any further. Find the cut that's in the middle of the tail, and push the mushroom-looking tab past both sides. Now on the other side, we'll do the same. Push the mushroom-looking tab past the center on both sides. Once the tail is secured to the scales, continue adding the rest of the scales. Remember to align the odd numbers with each other. You can weave the scales together like before, or pull the tabs through with your finger or tweezers. And don't worry about creasing the tabs because they will be covered by the next set of scales. Hooking together the end tabs is just like before. Interlocking the rows of scales and hooking together the end tabs will make up the majority of the koi assembly process. It takes a little getting used to at the beginning, but once you're familiar with the movements, it can be very relaxing to watch the koi come together. The last technique I want to go over is how to insert the fins. The number on the fin will always match the number on the scale. It's important to make sure the fins are inserted in the correct direction. For the dorsal fin, the number on the tab should be in the same direction as the number on the scale. Begin by bending the tabs at 90 degrees. Now gently curve the fin until the two tabs overlap. Then push open the slit that's on the scale, and with the tabs overlapped, push both tabs through the slit. If you're having trouble pushing them through, you can also try pulling from the other side. Once the tabs are in, unbend the scale and straighten it. Then on the other side, flatten the tabs in opposite directions. Now we'll attach this row of scales to the rest of the fish using the same methods as before. For the next dorsal fin, the method to insert it into the scales is exactly the same. All the fins are inserted the same way. If you accidentally inserted the fins backwards, the way to take it out again is to reverse how you put it in. Overlap the two tabs and pull it back out of the slit. It can be a little tricky to take the fins out again, so it's best to pay attention and put it in the correct position the first time. Now that we have gone over all the basics, you can grab your koi kit and follow along the rest of the tutorial. Remember, you can always pause the video or go back and replay any parts that you don't understand. It takes me about 30 minutes to make a koi, but for your very first time, it can take several hours, so feel free to take breaks in between. And remember, you can always use tweezers to help with any difficult parts. First, take the tail piece, which should be labeled number 29. Then, find the scale piece that should be labeled number 28 and number 27. The center of the koi will always have an even number, and the odd number will always be to the left. Connect the two pieces by interlocking them with these tabs, pushing them together, making sure that the numbers are in the correct positions. If you mess up on these first two pieces, there are two duplicates for you to try again. Now take scale piece number 26 and align it with scale piece number 28. Note that these are both even numbers and are the center of the koi. Now interlock the scales like before, making sure the numbers are in the correct positions. Double check that the even numbers are aligned, and then fold it down the middle like so. Now, see these little tabs at the end? We are going to bend them slightly and then slide them together, interlocking them. Now, fold this scale in half and then interlock the end tabs like before. You can bend back the previous tab for easier access. Don't worry about the fold lines on the previous tab, because you will be covered by the scales later on. Now you should have 3 pieces of this scale interlocked and connected, forming a flattened tube. Now find the number 26, this should be the top of the fish, and take the tail piece, number 29, and slide the tail in between the tube. Push the tail in nice and tight until it does not slide anymore. Now find this cut in the tail that's in the middle, and it should look like this. Push the mushroom-looking tab past the center cut on both sides. Flip the tail over and take the mushroom tab on this side and push it past both the mushroom tab and the center of the tail. Do the same on the left side, pushing it past the center of the tail. If you're having trouble getting the mushroom tabs past the center of the tail, it might be that the tail is not pushed into the tube far enough. The tail should be tightly interlocked with the scales. You can pull gently on the scales to see if it comes off or not. Find the number 26, and remember this is the top of the koi, and take piece number 25 and align it to piece number 27 on the side. Interlock the tabs like before, making sure the numbers are aligned properly. And remember, if you have difficulty grabbing onto the small pieces, you may use a tweezer to help you with the process. And make sure the tabs at the end are hooked onto each other like so. Now take the scale piece number 24 and repeat the process like before. Make sure that the number 24 is aligned with number 26 at the top. We're going to gently fold this scale in half so it can wrap nicely around the existing scales. Do the same thing with this bottom scale and fold it in half. And then hook together the two end tabs like before. Now take the scale piece number 23 and align it with scale number 25. And we will repeat the process like before by interlocking the scales and then hooking together the end tabs. Now take scale piece number 22 and align it with scale piece number 24 at the top. Then very lightly bend the top scale so that it curves around the existing fish. Notice that the further we get from the tail, the less we bend the top scales. Instead of folding this one in half, it is only slightly curved. Eventually, we won't be bending them at all. Once that's done, continue interlocking the scales like before. We're going to do the same at the bottom. Gently bend the very last scale so that it conforms with the shape of the rest of the fish. And then hook these end tabs together. For scale piece number 21, we will align it with scale piece number 23. At the bottom, there is an additional scale as the fish body gets bigger. Gently curve this scale, like before, and then hook the end tabs onto each other. For scale piece number 20, you'll notice there is a slit down the middle. This is to insert the dorsal fin piece, also labeled number 20. Remember from the overview that the number on the dorsal fin is always in the same direction as the number on the scale. Make sure to insert the fin in the correct direction. Take the dorsal fin and gently fold the tabs at 90 degrees. Then, bend the tabs towards each other so that they'll overlap, like so. We're going to insert the dorsal fin tabs into this slit over here. Begin inserting, and then overlap the tabs. When they are overlapped, they are smaller than the slit. Once inside, unfold the tabs so that they expand and become bigger than the slit. On the other side, fold one tab to the left and the other to the right so that they are in opposing directions. This way, the dorsal fin is locked in place. Now we're going to align number 20 with number 22 at the top, and then interlocked the scales like before. There is no more need to bend the top scale, which should now automatically conform to the geometry of the fish. Now take scale piece number 19 and align it with scale piece number 21. For scale piece number 18, you'll notice there's another slit down the middle. That means we'll be inserting dorsal fin number 18 as well. Like last time, we'll begin by folding the tabs to 90 degrees like so, and then bending the fin so that the two tabs overlap. Then push open the slit and slide the overlapped tabs inside. Once the fin is in and straightened out, pull the fin in the direction of the arrow until it can no longer slide. Here is the slide again in slow motion. Now flip to the other side and bend the two tabs in opposite directions so that the dorsal fin is locked in place. Now we will align piece 18 with piece 20. Begin interlocking the scales, and then slide the scale under the existing dorsal fin like so. There is another scale increase at the bottom. Hook the end tabs together and gently bend the extra scale. Now take piece number 17 and align it with number 19. For scale piece number 16, there is also a slit down the middle. Take dorsal fin number 16 and insert it like before. Bend the two tabs at 90 degrees and then overlap them. Push open the slit and insert the overlapped tabs. Once the tabs are in, straighten out the fin and pull backwards. Flip to the other side and fold the tabs in opposite directions to lock them in place. Now you'll notice there's another slit on the very left side where the bottom scale is. This is for the bottom fin. Find the fin that's also labeled number 16 that matches the scale number. The fin and the scales will be inserted in this direction, so make sure they are positioned correctly. Like the dorsal fins, we will fold the two tabs at 90 degrees, and then gently bend the fin so that the two tabs overlap. Now push open the slit and insert the overlapped tabs. Then straighten out the fin again once the tabs have been inserted. Flip to the other side and push the tabs in opposite directions to lock them in place. Now take piece 16 and align it with piece 18. Begin interlocking one scale and then slide the top scale under the existing dorsal fin. And after you hook the end tabs together, you'll start getting something that looks like a fish. Now take piece number 15 and align it with the number 17. For scale piece number 14, there is another slit in the middle. Like before, we'll find the matching dorsal fin number, also 14, and insert it into the slit. Overlap the tabs and slide it in. Then pull the fin backwards until it can no longer slide. On the other side, push the tabs in opposite directions to lock the fin in place. Like before, align the even numbers, then slide the scale underneath the dorsal fin, then continue interlocking the rest of the scales. Then take scale piece number 13 and align it with number 15 and begin interlocking the scales. For scale piece number 12, there is a slit in the middle. So like before, we'll find the matching number for the dorsal fin. We'll bend the tabs at 90 degrees, then gently fold the fin so that the tabs overlap. We'll push open the slit and insert the tabs while they are overlapped. Once the tabs are in, straighten out the fin, pull it back, on the other side, fold the tabs in opposite directions. Now we'll align the even numbers, interlock one scale, push the top scale under the last dorsal fin, and continue to interlock the rest of the scales. For scale piece number 11, align it with number 13 and begin interlocking the scales. For scale piece number 10, there is a slit in the middle. So like before, find the matching fin number, fold the tabs at 90 degrees, bend the fin so that the tabs overlap. Push open the slit and insert the tabs while they are overlapped. Once the tabs are in, pull the fin back, flip to the other side, and push the tabs into opposite directions. Align the even numbers and interlock one scale. Then push the top scale under the dorsal fin. continue interlocking the rest of the scales. For scale piece number 9, align it with number 11 and begin interlocking the scales. For scale piece number 8, there are 3 slits. The final configuration will have a dorsal fin in the middle and a ventral fin on each side. Be sure to insert all the fins in the correct direction, matching this diagram. We'll start with the center slit and find the dorsal fin number 8. Like before, we'll bend the tabs at 90 degrees, overlap them, push open the slit, and insert the tabs when they are overlapped. On the other side, push the tabs in opposite directions. Now find fin piece number 8 for the right side of the fish, and make sure the numbers are facing up. We will be inserting it into the right side of the scales. Like with all other fins, we'll be folding the tabs at 90 degrees, overlapping them, then push open the slit and insert the tabs when they are overlapped. Once the tabs are in, flip to the other side and push the tabs in opposite directions. Now we'll do the same on the other side. Find fin piece number 8 for the left side, and like before, fold the tabs at 90 degrees, overlap them, and insert into the slit. Once the tabs are in, flip it over and fold the tabs in opposite directions. Now scale piece number 8 should look like this, with a dorsal fin in the middle and 1 fin on each end. Like before, we'll align the even number at the top and begin interlocking the scales. We'll push the top scale underneath the existing dorsal fin and continue interlocking the rest of the scales. We'll continue with scale piece number 7, align it with scale piece number 9, and begin interlocking the scales. For scale piece number 6, there is a half slit at the top. Align the slit with the existing dorsal fin and slide it under. Once it is in, begin interlocking the rest of the scales. For scale piece number 5, align it with number 7 and begin interlocking the scales. Now the fish is really coming together. You can even begin posing it. The scales slide over each other, making it move like a real fish. For scale piece number 4, align it at the top with number 6 and begin interlocking the scales. For scale piece number 3, align it with number 5 and begin interlocking the scales. For scale piece number 2, align it with number 4 and begin interlocking the scales. And now the body of the koi is complete. Next, we will be working on the head. Before we begin assembling the head, you can choose from one of 6 head ornaments to decorate your koi head. If you have multiple koi kits in different colors, you can mix and match the head ornaments for contrast. Or you can grab a marker and color in the head ornament however you like. If you do choose to color the ornaments and eyes, it's best to do so before assembly. This way, it's easier to color them without the marker accidentally drawing onto other parts of the fish. Take the headpiece and make sure it is facing in the right direction. You should be able to see these score lines pointed by the arrows. To begin, we'll be inserting the tabs on the head ornaments into these small slits. Start by gently pushing open the slit. You can use a tweezer to help you with this process. Today, I'll be using a red cherry blossom head ornament. Simply push the tab into the slit. If you're having trouble, try using a tweezer to poke the hole bigger. And on the back, you can tug on it to make sure it's fully in. And then do the same to the other tab. Now that the head ornament is in, we will be inserting the eyes. The process is very similar. First, push open the slit for the eyes. And then, we insert the longer end of the eye into the back slit. And the shorter end of the eye into the front slit. Now do the same on the other side. Gently push open the slit and insert the long end first, followed by the short end. Now that the eyes are in, gently fold along the scored line to 90 degrees. Do not fold beyond 90 degrees. We only want to gently bend the pieces, not flatten them. Now for this scored line here, fold towards you. And this time, you do want to fold it all the way until it is flattened. And we'll do the same for the second scored line right underneath. Fold it towards you until it is flattened completely. The end result should be a flat roll that forms the lip of the koi. Now gently curve the lip by slowly bending it with your fingers. Now your koi head should look like this, and we'll put this piece aside while we work on the bottom half. Now find this piece and make sure the scored lines are facing towards you. Begin by folding the top towards you along the scored line, flattening it completely. Repeat the process along the second scored line, folding it towards you and flattening it completely until you have a flat roll that forms the bottom lip. Now gently curve the lip like before by slowly bending it with your fingers. Now take the top part of the head and hook it to the bottom half like this. Now bend the corner of this tab at 90 degrees like so. And do the same to the corner of the other tab on the other side. Now they can slide right past each other. Once they're in position, unbend the corners so that they are locked in place. We'll repeat the process with the corners of all the other tabs. Bend them at 90 degrees so they can slide past each other. Once they're in position, unbend them to lock them in place. And once more, bend the corners at 90 degrees. Slide them into position and unbend them to lock them in place. And now your koi should look like this. And make sure the whiskers are on the outside. And we will repeat the process on the other side. We'll begin by hooking the first two tabs together. Then we will fold the corners of the other tabs so that they can slide past each other. Once they have been slid into position, unfold the corners to lock them in place. And we'll repeat the process again. Fold the corners at 90 degrees. Slide them past each other. Unfold the corners to lock them in place. And one last time, fold the corners at 90 degrees. Slide them past each other and unfold the corners to lock them. And now your koi head is almost complete. Use your fingers to press down any tabs that might not be completely flattened, and round out the head and jaws of the fish. Now we will be inserting this tab into this slit right here, and make sure the flaps are folded in. Simply push the tab in and pull forward to lock it. We'll do the same on the other side. We'll put this tab into this slit right here. Push it in, and then pull forward to lock it. . Now we will gently curve the whiskers to give it a more organic flow. Near the base of the whiskers, we'll bend it upwards, and then near the tip, we'll bend it downwards. We'll repeat the process on the other side. Near the base, curve the whisker upward, and near the tip, curve it downwards. And now, your koi head is complete. If you made a mistake on your koi head, remember there are duplicate pieces for you to try again. Next, locate piece 0B and 0A. Piece 0A will go on the top of the koi head, like so. Once again, we will fold the tip of these tabs at 90 degrees. Do this on both sides and on the head as well. Now, the pieces can slide into each other. Once in place, unfold the corner of the tabs so that they are locked in place. We'll repeat the process with the corners of the other tabs, folding the tip at 90 degrees, and on here as well, fold at 90 degrees. Slide the pieces into position, and once there, unfold the tips so that they are locked in place. And it's exactly the same on this side as well. Now we move on to the bottom with piece number 0B. Like with the top, we'll begin by folding in the tip of the tabs at 90 degrees. Do this on both sides. And on the scale piece as well. Slide the pieces together. Once in place, unfold the tip of the tabs so that they are locked in. And we'll repeat the process with the other tab corners as well. Folding them at 90 degrees. Sliding them into place. And unfolding the corners so that they are locked in place. Again, fold at 90 degrees. Slide into place and then unfold to lock into place. Now we'll need scale piece number 1. We're going to make a configuration that looks like this. Make sure the fins are positioned in the right directions. Now locate right fin number 1. Like the other fins, we'll begin by bending the two tabs at 90 degrees and then overlapping them. We'll push open the slit and insert the tabs while they are overlapped. Once the tabs are in, flip to the other side and fold them in opposite directions to lock them. And we'll repeat the process on the left with left fin number 1. Fold the tabs at 90 degrees and while they're overlapped, push them into the slit. Then flip to the other side and fold the tabs in opposite directions to lock them. Now, it should look like this. Now, we'll be adding scale piece number 1 to the koi head in this position. We'll begin by folding the tabs at 90 degrees. Do not fold the head scale, only fold the tabs shown in this video. Then we'll slide one side behind the head scale then slide the other side behind the head scale as well. And we'll repeat the process for all the remaining tabs. Fold it in at 90 degrees, slide it behind the head scale, continue on to the other side, folding and sliding, fold, slide, fold, and slide. And don't forget to unfold the tabs once it's on the other side. Make sure the scale strip goes behind the head. And moving on to the bottom, the process is the same. Fold the tab at 90 degrees, then slide it past the head scale. Once there, unfold the tab on the other side so that it's flattened out again. We'll repeat the process on the other side. Fold, slide, and unfold. Now for this little extra tip here at the bottom, we're going to push it into this slit down here. Finally, we'll hook together the end tabs. And now your koi head is ready to be attached to the rest of the body. First, we need to align the koi body with the koi head. This oval-shaped tab will be going into this opening right here. Position the body so that it is tilted at a slight angle. And make sure none of the other scales or tabs are catching on each other. Push the tab into the opening as much as you can. You can help out by pulling on the scale too. Make sure you push it in at an angle so that you can get in. Once in, align the head and the body so that it is locked in place. We'll repeat the process on the other side. Tilt the body at an angle and start pushing the tab into the opening. We can hold on to one of the scales to help with the process. Once in, straighten the body to lock it in place. Now, find the scale in the top center that says number 2. You'll want to pull the tab out so that it is hooked onto the other tabs. You can use a tweezer to help you with this process. We'll be doing the same on the bottom with 2 more tabs. Find the tab that is just on the inside of the fin and pull it out until you can hook it onto the other scales. And there is one more on this side. You can use your fingers or a tweezer to help you with this process. Pull on the tab until it can be hooked onto the scales. The very last bit is always the trickiest, but after this, you'll be done. With the last part in place, you can flatten any scales that got bent during the process. If the top head scale is flapping up, gently curve it along the direction of the spine and it should stay down. And now your koi is complete. Don't forget to take some time to admire your creation. And that's it for the main assembly tutorial. Please check out my other tutorial on how to insert and use the LED lights. There are even more tutorials on how to make the bonus mini star and how to style and decorate your koi. I'll see you there!